Because of Mr. Terupt. November. Chapter Luke. It was November. Apparently that meant time for Mr. Terupt to get crazy with his math ideas again. I think he was on a mission to put us through his math gauntlet. Gauntlet is a dollar word. We're going to figure out the number of blades of grass in the soccer field, he announced one day. What? You're going to make us count grass? Peter yelled. That's nuts. No way, Nick was hollering. Hollering is a dollar word. How are we supposed to do that? Tommy said. I raised my hand. Yes, Luke? You mean we're going to estimate the total number, right? I said. Yes and no, Mr. Terupt said. We'll actually do some calculating to get a reasonable approximation. I was beginning to think that Peter might be right. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but I know we can do it, Mr. Terupt said. Besides, if everything we did were easy, then you wouldn't learn anything. We need to be challenged in order to learn. Mr. Terupt was right about being challenged. None of us had any idea how we were going to count blades of grass, but we did. First, we decided we wanted to count 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter squares, which was my suggestion after Mr. Terupt talked to us about sampling and how our government gets population numbers. Then we measured the squares on the large pieces of cardboard and cut them out. So we were left with a piece of cardboard that had a 10 centimeter square missing in the middle. That was Mr. Terup's suggestion. Now it would be easy to toss our piece of cardboard around the field and collect random 10 centimeter samples. So far, so good. Time to head outside. We marched downstairs and out the front door by the office, and then we stampeded down the sidewalk until the end of our building. The soccer field awaited us on the side of our school. Chapter Peter. She was bent over, cutting blades of grass. It was the perfect opportunity. Mr. T was busy helping someone else, so he wasn't going to pay any attention to me in action. I gripped the cardboard with my best hold, dipped my knees a little, and let that frisbee fly. It zinged through the air on its mission like a missile from a fighter jet. Bullseye! Ow! Lexi shrieked. My tushy! I almost died of laughter. I dropped to my knees. I laughed so hard I couldn't stop. I couldn't catch my breath either. Lots of other kids were laughing too. Lexi yelled something about her tushy and me being a jerk. Everyone that missed out on the fun kept asking, What happened? What happened? Everyone except Mr. T. He came right over to make sure Lexi wasn't actually injured. Lexi was holding her tushy and hopping up and down and saying, Ow, ow, over and over. She's such a total drama queen. Usually a teacher checks the spot that hurts, but I don't think Mr. T was real big on that this time. Peter, that's not funny, Mr. T said to me. Someone could have been really injured. You're lucky you didn't hit anyone in the eye. Go sit down. I sat down. It was no big deal. If you'd been there, you'd agree. It was super funny. Chapter Luke. So we already read one chapter Luke in November. Now we're reading another chapter Luke. We spread out all over the place, tossing our cardboard squares and counting the blades of grass. Peter, however, was flinging his square like a frisbee, even though Mr. Terupt had warned us that it wasn't a toy and to be careful throwing it. Maybe if things had turned out differently that day, they would not have turned out differently in the end, too. I think what happened on the soccer field just set us up for disaster later on. So Peter was being his typical sneaky self, flinging his square and counting here and there. But as soon as he spotted Alexia bent over her square, he rounded up and sailed that beauty in her direction. It was a perfect delivery. Delivery is a dollar word. That tattooed is a dollar word. Her Fanny. Ouch, she shrieked. Like, what the heck? What happened? Mr. Terupt instantly twisted. Twisted is a dollar word. Like someone just hit me in my tushy with their square, Alexia cried. The old buttocks again, huh? Mr. Terupt said. Are you okay? Yes, Alexia said. Mr. Terupt turned and looked at us. We were laughing our heads off, and I swear I saw him smile as he shook his head at the whole scene. Peter, come over here, please, he said. Why me? Peter complained. Because we all know how much you like buttocks areas, don't we? Classic Mr. Terupt. Instead of blowing up, he was funny about it, but in a serious way. He sat Peter out for the rest of the activity and had a talk with him. Peter didn't pretend to be innocent, but like I said, I think this set us up for later. The whole thing seemed funny. No one got hurt, and Peter sat this one out. That was it. Once we finished tossing and counting, we headed inside when we learned how to average all our data. Then we took advantage of took our average of our number and used it to predict to the soccer field total by figuring out how many of our squares could actually fit inside the field. The number of blades of grass in our soccer field equaled 77,537,412. This isn't an exact answer, of course, but is an accurate estimation based on all of our calculations. Oof! I learned so much doing this project. It wasn't that stupid easy stuff I was used to getting from my teachers, that's for sure. We were going to become math wizards. Wizards is a dollar word.